everyone, and welcome to Walking Through the Bible. In times of trouble, people often turn to the ways of mankind to find help. They turn to meditation, they turn to psychologists, they turn to exercise, or advice columns or websites. Now, let's not make any mistakes. None of these things are necessarily wrong, but they don't really address the underlying problem, which is the need for God in your life. You see, God is able to provide that which this world cannot: true security. In Psalm 46, we're going to see Israel facing a foe that could have destroyed them, and yet we're also going to find out how they were saved by God. So let's look to the Psalms now. If you have a Bible with you, then you can turn to the book of Psalms, to Psalms 46. We're going to be reading from verses 1 to 11. If you don't have a Bible, don't worry, just follow along with us on the screen. The version that we'll be reading from is the New King James Version. So, Psalm 46, beginning at verse 1. To the chief musician, a psalm of the sons of Korah, a song for Alamoth. God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. Therefore we will not fear, even though the earth be removed, and though the mountains be carried into the midst of the sea, though its waters roar and be troubled, though the mountains shake with its swelling. There is a river whose streams shall make glad the city of God, the holy place of the tabernacle of the Most High. God is in the midst of her, she shall not be moved. God shall help her just as the break of dawn. The nations raged, the kingdoms were moved. He uttered his voice, the earth melted. The Lord of hosts is with us. The God of Jacob is our refuge. Come, behold the works of the Lord, who has made desolations in the earth. He makes wars cease to the end of the earth. He breaks the bow and cuts the spear in two. He burns the chariot in the fire. Be still and know that I am God. I will be exalted among the nations. I will be exalted in the earth. The Lord of hosts is with us. The God of Jacob is our refuge. The superscript of the psalm tells us that this psalm was meant for the temple worship, since it is written to the chief musician of the temple. Like with the previous couple of psalms, it was not written by David, instead being written by the sons of Korah, Levites who worked in the temple. It is a song for Alamoth, meaning it was to be sung with high notes, with clear, shrill voices. Now, we cannot pinpoint a specific time period that this relates to, but based on the nature of the psalm, our best guess would be during the reign of Hezekiah, and especially during the part of his reign where he was facing the threat of Sennacherib of Assyria. Now, since we studied 2 Kings quite a while ago, I'd like us to remind us of that threat. So let's go back to 2 Kings 19, verses 1 to 7. And so it was, when Hezekiah heard it, that he tore his clothes, covered himself with sackcloth, and went into the house of the Lord. Then he sent Eliakim, who was over the household, Shebna the scribe, and the elders of the priests, covered with sackcloth, to Isaiah the prophet, the son of Amoz. And they said to him, Thus says Hezekiah, This day is a day of trouble and rebuke and blasphemy, for the children have come to birth, but there is no strength to bring them forth. It may be that the Lord your God will hear all the words of Rabshakeh, whom his master the king of Assyria has sent to reproach the living God, and rebuke the words which the Lord your God has heard. Therefore lift up your prayer for the remnant that is left. So the servant of King Hezekiah came to Isaiah, and Isaiah said to them, Thus you shall say to your master, Thus says the Lord, Do not be afraid of the words which you have heard, with which the servants of the king of Assyria have blasphemed me. Surely I will send a spirit upon him, and he shall hear a rumor and return to his own land, and I will cause him to fall by the sword in his own land. If you recall, Sennacherib had told Israel that they faced certain doom. Sennacherib had already invaded and was defeating the smaller towns in Judah and was threatening Jerusalem. Hezekiah was warned that if he didn't surrender, that he and Jerusalem would be destroyed. Did Hezekiah surrender? No, in fact, he turned to the prophet Isaiah to reveal to him the word of the Lord, to which Isaiah said that the Lord would provide Judah victory if they would but trust in him. This psalm would then memorialize Judah doing this. They would turn to God as their refuge and strength, their protector. Why? Because the Lord, as creator of heaven and earth, was fully capable of defeating a powerful army simply by the word of his power. He made the mountains, the dry lands, the seas, and all that is in them. how would people think that Sennacherib posed any issue for God? The earth could quake, the mountains move, and be carried away to the sea, and the waters could be troubled, and yet the Lord remained. His dwelling place was in Jerusalem, represented by the mercy seat on the Ark of the Covenant that was in the temple built for him in Jerusalem. So the nations can rage, they can threaten God's people, but the Lord will prevail, because he was with the house of Jacob when they turned to him in faith and asked for his help. God was being blasphemed by Sennacherib, but he was able to find out that his gods were nothing, and that Jehovah was the only true God to be worshipped. Therefore, Judah was to remain still, to know that Jehovah is God, and exalt him as God in all the earth. And if you read 2 Kings 19, verses 35 to 37, we find the results. And it came to pass on a certain night that the angel of the Lord went out and killed in the camp of the Assyrians 185,000. And when people arose in the morning, there were the corpses, all dead. So Sennacherib, king of Assyria, departed and went away, returned home, and remained at Nineveh. Now it came to pass, as he was worshipping in the temple of Nisroch his god, that his sons Adramelech and Sharezer struck him down with a sword, and they escaped into the land of Ararat. Then Esarhaddon his son reigned in his place. Sennacherib was brought down and defeated. And as we discussed back in our study of 2 Kings, Assyrian history confirms that Sennacherib didn't take Jerusalem in spite of being so close. And after this defeat, Sennacherib largely kept to subduing the Babylonians, staying away from Judah altogether. God protected Judah, and Judah was victorious. For us, when we face troubles and trials, do we seek God for strength? Now, he hasn't promised to perform miracles in our lives, but he has promised to be with his followers and see them through no matter what. He is able to save our souls from eternal death, and according to his will, help us endure the struggles that we face. God is able, more than able, to provide hope and help to the Christian. We just need to seek him and obey him in faith. With that, our time is up for today. The Lord willing, we hope you'll join us for tomorrow's discussion of Psalms 47, verses 1 to 9, as we continue our walk through the Bible, one verse at a time. We thank you for watching Walking Through the Bible today. If you have any questions or comments, you can leave them below. But if you like this video, we ask that you consider subscribing to our channel so you won't miss out on other videos in our series, as well as share this video among your friends so that the saving message of Jesus Christ can go out to the whole world.